I never thought I'd be one of those people writing a story like this on Reddit, but here I am. I guess some things in life hit you so hard that the only way to process them is to write it all out. So, if you've got the patience, here's how my ex-wife shattered my life and how I slowly crawled out of the wreckage. I met her when I was 22. She wasn't just another girl, at least not to me. She was laughter in a crowded room, the kind of person who made you believe in meant to be. We fell fast, the kind of whirlwind romance people tell you burns out quick, but we proved them wrong, or at least I thought we did. By the time I was 25, we were married, building dreams together, decorating our first apartment, talking about kids. She was my safe place, or so I believed. The first cracks were so small I ignored them. Late nights at work, more time on her phone, smiles that didn't quite reach her eyes anymore. I thought I was being paranoid, insecure. I told myself, she loves you, stop overthinking. Then came the night everything collapsed. I'll never forget it. I had planned a surprise dinner, nothing fancy, just a way to bring us back together, to remind us of what we had. But when she came home, she looked guilty, almost scared. And then she said words that split me open like a knife. I've been seeing someone else. I swear I couldn't even process it. My brain shut down. I remember staring at the table I had set, candles, food going cold, and wondering how any of this could be real. She didn't beg, didn't cry, didn't fight for us. She just packed a bag. And by morning, she was gone. The days after were a blur. I stopped eating, stopped sleeping. Friends tried to pull me out of it, but I was a ghost. Everywhere I went, I saw her. Every song on the radio, every couple holding hands on the street felt like a knife twisting deeper. Depression is a strange beast. People think it's just sadness, but it's emptiness. I'd wake up and feel nothing but dread. I'd drag myself to work, go through the motions like a puppet, then collapse into bed and stare at the ceiling until dawn. And worst of all, I blamed myself. Was I not enough? Too boring? Too predictable? Did I miss some sign that she was unhappy? I replayed every moment of our marriage, dissecting conversations, her smiles, her silences. It was torture. Months turned into a year. She got engaged to the guy she left me for. I heard through mutual friends. It was like salt in a wound that hadn't even scabbed over. And yet, weirdly, it was also a wake-up call. I realized she wasn't coming back. And if I didn't save myself, no one else would. So I started small. Therapy, gym, forcing myself to go out with friends even when I wanted to rot in my room. I remember the first time I laughed, really laughed, months after she left. It felt foreign, like my body had forgotten how. But it was a start. Little by little, I rebuilt. I didn't just survive, I changed. I found hobbies I'd never tried before. I traveled. I met people who reminded me the world was bigger than my heartbreak. I learned to cook, to enjoy my own company, to look in the mirror and not see someone broken. By the second year, I could talk about her without choking up. By the third, I had almost made peace with it. Almost. But here's the thing about the past. It has claws. And just when you think you've buried it for good, it has a way of digging itself back into your present. Because after all those years, after the therapy, the growth, the scars I wore like armor, she came back.
It started with a message. One ordinary Tuesday night, my phone buzzed. I glanced at the screen and froze. Her name. After all these years, after all the silence, there it was, staring back at me like a ghost that had clawed its way out of the grave. I didn't open it at first. I left the notification sitting there while I paced the room, heart racing. Part of me didn't want to know. Part of me already knew. Eventually, curiosity won. Hey, I know this is out of nowhere, but I left him. I've been thinking about you a lot. I miss us. I read it 3 times, waiting for anger, or maybe excitement, or something. But the truth? I felt nothing. Just this heavy, numb disbelief. I didn't respond. Not that night, not the next. A week later, she messaged again, longer this time. How she had realized she made a mistake, how her marriage fell apart, how she still loved me, always had, and just needed one more chance. And that's when the floodgates opened. Memories I'd buried came rushing back. The night she left, the tears, the hollow months of self-destruction. I felt the echo of all that pain, But instead of dragging me down, it lit something inside me. Anger, yes, but also clarity. I had clawed my way back from the bottom alone. She wasn't there when I was choking down antidepressants just to make it through the day. She wasn't there when I forced myself to rebuild piece by piece. She didn't hold me when I broke down on the shower floor. I did all of that without her. And now, suddenly, she wanted to come back, as if I was some spare option waiting on a shelf. We agreed to meet for coffee. I don't even know why. Maybe closure, maybe curiosity. When I walked into that cafe and saw her sitting there, it was like looking at a stranger wearing a familiar face. She smiled nervously, like she expected me to melt right there, but I didn't. We talked. She told me about how her marriage had crumbled, how he'd turned out to be someone she didn't really know, how she kept comparing him to me. She cried. She said I was the love of her life. She begged for forgiveness. And I listened, calm, detached, almost clinical. Then she said the words that should have meant everything once. I still love you. And that's when I realized the truth. I didn't love her anymore. I hadn't for a long time. The version of me that once would have given anything to hear those words was dead. So I looked her in the eyes and said quietly, "I'm glad you finally figured out what you want, but I'm not yours anymore. Not now, not ever." Her face crumbled. She tried to argue, to remind me of the good times, to say we could rebuild, but every word bounced off me like rain on stone. I wasn't angry. I wasn't bitter. I just didn't care. I stood up, paid for my coffee, and left her sitting there. Walking out of that cafe felt like shedding a skin I didn't know I was still wearing. For the first time, I wasn't carrying her ghost anymore. I was free. That night, I sat on my balcony with a cup of coffee, staring out at the city lights. And it hit me. Real victory isn't getting back the person who betrayed you. That's not a win. That's just reopening an old wound. Real victory is this: being strong enough to look at the person who once broke you and realizing they no longer have any power over you. I didn't need her. Not anymore. And that was the most liberating feeling in the world.